Hello there, welcome to another Careful Carping video. We're down in the Syndicate. I haven't done a video down here for a long time. We're down into October now. It's Thursday the 9th of October and it's a very windy day. I decided since starting to come on the Syndicate, I knew it wasn't going to be a catch every session kind of video, so I thought I'd do something a bit different and start getting a load of footage together over several sessions and start putting it together into one big video. Otherwise I'm just going to be getting a load of blank videos and uploading them, and they're just not going to be fun to watch. So I thought if I can get a few sessions together, I should be able to put fish into each one. So yeah, this is going to be part one. I haven't done a lot this year as much as I'd like to, but since Jordan I managed to get 5 nights in the 2 morning sessions. You would have seen one morning session as I uploaded that. That was my very first morning down here, just so you can see the Syndicate and what it's like. Since then I've done 5 nights in one of the morning sessions. So let's get this video underway and have a look at the sessions I've done. So this is the first proper session I managed on the Syndicate. I had a morning shift at work, I finished at 2 and got straight down to the lake. The lake is around the corner from work, so that's nice and easy for me to get down here. I done a quick lap of the lake. Bearing in mind it was a really hot day this one, so the fish were obvious where it was really obvious where the fish were, and I jumped straight on top of them. There's 2 other anglers next to me, one on my left and one on my right, but we was all on top of the fish. So I thought since I'm next to a couple of anglers, one of them's already been on the lake a few months and had a few fish out, so I could pick his brain on the lake as well whilst fishing next to him. I went with my common rig approach, used the PP60 bottom bait with the just pop-ups. I thought it worked really well for me on the water park, so there's no reason why it can't work here. Use what I know and we'll start and work off here. So I got the rods out and they all were on nice little spots, but unfortunately the fish really didn't play ball that night and none of us caught during the night. But I had a nice little social with the gears on my left and throwing quite a lot and got some very valued information. I got up at 10, well I packed up at 10, got the rods in, and unfortunately all 3 rods, none of them had the PP60 buoy on them. I was quite confused why, but I thought it might have took me a few casts to get on the spots, so I made a weak the buoys and all come off that way, but I was confused. But anyway, packed up the rods, got everything in the bar, went around to the car park. 10 o'clock in the morning I was just in the car park, my phone rang, there was the geezer on my left, he just had a little comment, so I went around there and photoed it for him. It was about mid-double, but a really nice comment, and it's really worth having a look at to see what it was like. The next session was a couple of weeks later and it was a session after work again. I finished work at 2 but I had to be at work again the next morning for 7, so it was a really quick overnighter. I done a quick lap of the lake again, seen no signs of fish whatsoever, but noticed the point swim was free, so I decided to jump into there. It controlled a hell of a lot of water, so I edged my 3 rods all over the place to see what could happen. One was against islands and 2 in likely looking areas. Unfortunately, had no action during the night at all, and I was up again in the morning at 5:30 to completely motionless rods. Although I've just got through the footage on the camera, I've got no footage of me talking to the camera whatsoever, so as a bit of a shocker, I must have tried to speak to the camera without pressing record or something, or just forgot to get the footage done. But I've got footage of the session, just not me talking to the camera, so I'll leave you a few bits now from that session. down for my next session. Again, it was an overnight between work, and again, I've done a quick lap of the lake. This time I found a few fish in front of reeds, which is where I seen that guy had that fish 2 sessions previous. So I jumped into there, and I'll leave you with that session now. It's 27th of August now. It's Wednesday afternoon. Finished work today at 2 o'clock, and I come straight down to the Syndicate, obviously, and spent about an hour walking around. Took a fancy to a swim, and carried on walking the lake, and bumped into Dave, the owner. He pointed me out. He said, "What swim do you fancy?" So I told him what swim we were going to jump into, and he told me a geezer had actually done a haul up the other end of the lake, and had 8 fish out recently. 2 of them been two of my targets, both 30s, and smashing fish. So I thought if he's had 8 up that end of the lake, I'll go take another look. Went all the way up the other end of the lake again, and stood on the bridge to the island and seen a couple of fish cruising through there, and I thought, I could see a few fish, I best jump into one of the swims around here, ready to pick them off. And I've jumped into a couple of swims, and got the rods out, put a bit of bait over them. I haven't really seen much, but over the last half hour, over the middle rod, I've seen a fish just slightly flick out, just on the back of the wee bed I'm fishing next to. And literally as I just turned the camera, coming down to the left hand rod, there's another fish just cruising across the surface, which is quite surprising. I thought they'd either be crashing out or you can't see it very well, because conditions today are pretty bleak. The wind's been pretty hazardous all day, and it's been, well, all afternoon rather, since I've been here, causing the alarms to keep continuously bleeping, although they are as tight as possible and still going, and the sensitivity is low as possible. Hey ho, what can you do? So I'm hoping to have a fish. It's 10 to 6, saying we've got to pack up at 6 in the morning, half 6. As work's only up the corner, I can literally leave here at 10 to 7 and be at work on time. Plenty of time to spare, so I'll give it a good go, and hopefully we can have our first fish out tonight, but we're going to have to see what happens, and fingers crossed. Oh, good morning. Bit of another quiet night last night, really. No action whatsoever. A very wet night though, so not too bothered that I didn't get pulled out of the bag. It's rained pretty much solid all through the night, and I've woken to everything been obviously soaked through. And I'm up early. It's 25 past 6 now, and I've got to get off to work soon. So I'm just about to load the barrow and get there. So I've been up since about half 5. Seen no activity really in the swim. Just got the rods in, and the 2 distance rods have both had the boilies missing and just the pop-up left. So I'm assuming I've been done over by a roach again. It happened again in the last session, but I just thought it's probably me after a couple of casts. Maybe it's weakened the boilie, but if I've had it again on 2 rods, I think it's the roach or something having a go. So I'm just left with a pop-up. So next session I come down here, I'm going to air dry the boilies out, so they're a lot harder. And on the one rod, and then on the other rod I'm just going to fish a single PP60 pop-up and get that out there, so there's no way the roach can get it, and see if they're sounding up better that way. So learn something new again from the lake. I won't be out here again now for another few weeks. I've got horseshoe coming up in 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, and I've got work business again next week, so that slows me down. So I'll be out again in a couple of weeks, as I say, and we'll see how we get on that session. As you will have just heard, I had no fish again from that session, but again, no bait left on the rig. I watched roach for hours splashing over the area, but didn't realise the damage that they were doing to my rigs under the water, and what damage they were doing to the baits, actually taking it off the hair rigs. So this is where I realised I had to have a change in approach and start customising to the water. Again, a few weeks later, I come straight down again for another overnight in between work. It's getting a bit repetitive, and I end up back in reeds again. I found a few fish obviously in this area, so I'll leave you with that session now. It's 24th of September now, back down the Syndicate. It's been about a month again since I've been back down here. I've missed it, but I've had other things to do. As you would have seen, fished horseshoe for 3 nights of the week, so kind of couldn't get out down here straight away, and actually use up a pass to get, as to say, to get down there instead of down here. But we're back down here, and fish should hopefully be on the feed ready, getting ready for winter. Cold weather's starting to kick in, although today is a very beautiful day. And yeah, so hopefully the fish are going to be on the munch a bit more and we can have one. As I say, it's the end of September. I'm down here for a quick overnighter again. It's a Wednesday, so finish work at 2, same old, get down here, get on the lake, unpack everything, set up, and off we go. I've got down here, done my usual lap of the lake, 3 lads on, down the other end of the lake, so I thought straight away, don't want to be down there on top of them, and there might be a bit more pressure and line down there and the fish might come up here. So I walked up the shallower end again, and there's a nice wind pushing up into this corner. I've actually ended up fishing the same swim as last time, but completely different spots. This time I've had a good old go with the marker, and found 3 nice gravel patches amongst a load of silt. So I've got all rods out in the gravel patches. As you would have seen in my last video, I used a test bait from Pyramid. I had a little bit of that left over from my last session, so I've got 1 rod using that, and the other 2 rods still on the PP60. Not much bait around them, maybe about 3 handfuls around each rod, so I wouldn't consider that quite a lot. And we'll take it from there. I'm feeling very confident. The wind's still trickling into this corner. It's trying to rain, but the clouds aren't staying. It just keeps spitting every now and then, so I'm feeling pretty confident getting a fish. Although I haven't seen anything yet. I didn't see anything down the other end of the lake, and it's not the biggest lake. It's about 8 acres, 100 fish. Surely there's going to be a couple at this end of the lake, and if they find the bait, hopefully we can have one. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Unfortunately now the darkness is drawing in quicker, so it gets dark earlier, and it doesn't get light till quite late. So when I get up in the morning, it's still going to be pitch black, and I'm going to have to pack up most of my stuff tonight. So when I get up in the morning, it's just literally load the barrow and go. So should be interesting, but we'll see. And if I don't catch, it's still another nice night by the lake regardless. So see how we go. Right then, good morning. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and the right hand rod's just shot off, and I'm on first fish from the Syndicate. Absolutely buzzing. New PB as well at £23, so couldn't be happy with the new fish from the lake. And yeah, what a fight. On the new test bait as well, the DT1, and the rod has just burst into life. It's ridiculous how that went off, and yeah, so made up. Take a look at that then. £23 of a Hamshorn mirror. It's literally scaleless, so I'm not sure if it's quite leather, but hopefully it comes up alright on the camera. Really made up with this. Shame I got her at night, but it's not really a problem. It's so good to find out the first one out, and as I say, a new PB too. It's amazing. There we go. Good morning again. It's just gone 6 in the morning, still completely pitch black, and I'm up, just loaded everything into the barrow near enough. Just got to take the brolly down, get the rods in, and we're off to work. Happy that I managed to get that one last night. Obviously I've done 3 more nights before this and not had a fish, so it's been quite gutting in the morning to wake up. But this time I had a complete change of tactics. As you would have probably seen in the last bit of update that I did on the last session, I've been coming down here using the PP60s and just literally getting them out of the freezer in the morning before work, doing a shift at work and coming here, so they're just defrosted, still quite wet, and they are pretty soft. I've never had a problem before fishing the water park with them being soft, as it's not been an issue at all. But in here there's quite a big head of roach which I've noticed, and when I've cast out them and put them out, the roach just come in and broke them down and took them off the hook. So whenever I got the rods in, I've just got the pop-up bit left, and I'm thinking what's going on here. But after my 3rd session last time, I realised I think it's the roach. So I've come down this time, hardened all the baits out, had them air drying for a bit, and put a hinge stiffy out on 2 rods. So obviously a pop-up, they're not going to break down the pop-up, and below me last night the pop-up shot off. I was actually on the DT1, as I said. I had out on the 1 rod, which was the right rod, and I was quite chuffed with that. I had 2 rods on the PP60, 1 on the DT1. DT1 was nowhere near the PP60s, and I could hear fish washing out there last night. I thought, that's got to go. So to put that on in my first session and get it in here and get a fish on it, I am ecstatic, because that is definitely the bait I'm going to be moving forward with. There's definitely nothing wrong with the PP60, but because we're getting to colder weather now, the DT1 is a lot sweeter, so I think that's going to help me a lot through the colder months. Pretty confident no one's put any of that bait in here at all, so for that to go on its first session, not much of it used, and to get a fish, I think that's saying some good stuff as well. So made up with that. I'll be back down here in 2 weeks for another night, so I'll catch you then. So yeah, I was really happy with that fish. It's always magic to get the first one out of the lake, especially after a couple of blanks. It shows you in the right direction after a change in tactics and putting on the hinge stiff rigs. Yeah, really happy with that, and a new PB2. How much better can it really get to start with? I'll bring you to my next session. The next session was just a morning session, and it was over the other side of the lake, a place where I only gave it one of the morning session, and all the rest have been over this side. So it was a bit nice to go over there and have a bit of a learn and see what it is like over there. So here's that session. Morning. Back down here for an early morning session. It's the 1st of October today, and thought we'd come down and do a few hours before work like I used to. I haven't done one of these for quite a while now. Got here for about 6, it was pitch black. So I had a walk around yesterday also, and seen a few fish moving about. Couldn't get on the swim that I was in last week. There's a geezer on the island by which was covering that spot where I had the fish, and it's his water, so that's a fair point. So I've come down yesterday for a walk and see where the fish were, and I've come into a swim on the opposite bank, quite close, and pretty much dead opposite where I was last week. And I got my rods out in the water about 5:30ish this morning, got everything set up and ready to go. And as soon as I could see they were like lifting a little bit, so I wanted to see what I could do. I was cast out the rods a little bit, and I flick around the lead to see if I can find any spots. Left hand rod I managed to find a grab up spot, so I'm happy with that. I've only had 2 or 3 casts in the middle, and the right rod I haven't found much yet, but I've got solid dunks on the rods, so they're all in nice positions. Fish are crashing all over, slightly out of my reach, and the other guy's water, but hopefully 1 or 2 might come through. I'm starting to think this is a bit of a channel in the morning, so the fish might come through here and hopefully pick one off. But after last week's success of having one on the hinge stiff rig, I've gone all out and putting them on the hinge stiff rigs today, and the new test bait from Pyramid DT1s with only a handful over each rod. Not really expecting to catch this morning. This is more of a learning session again, because I have no idea about this end of the lake, or this side rather, and no idea what's really in front of me, so I'm going to give it a few hours, hopefully catch one. Obviously it's bite time, as I say, didn't want to make any disturbance this morning casting the rods around, so that's why I did it really rough. And yeah, we're going to suck it in the sea, give it till about 12 o'clock, get the rods in, and I'll probably get the marker rod out the bag then. Obviously bite time's gone, and have a flick around and see what's actually in front of me for next time if I ever need to fish this swim. So let's sit back, have a cup of coffee, and see what the morning brings. Well, we just moved up 1 to the right. Sat there all morning, nothing, no liners, no nothing, seen nothing from my swim, but to the right of me, they've been boshing like crazy out there. Every 15 or 20 minutes you see one boshing out or fizzing or something, so I thought I can't sit there much longer and hope. So I packed all the bar up, moved up to 1 swim up, sorry, and I've just flicked at 3 singles. Typically as I start loading the bar I haven't seen one show yet, so I'm not 100% sure where the rod should be. So I've just flicked at 3 singles for now, put them all out in the alarms, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully we'll see some more showing in a little bit. And as soon as I see one show I'll cast the appropriate rod to it. Still on the hinge stiffies, it's the weediest swim up here by the looks of it. It hasn't seen any pressure really for the last good month or 2, it's just caked in weed, but I put on my waders, so if I manage to hook into one I'll just wade straight out and get it in as quickly as possible. So I'm going to try and get through all the marginal weed, which is quite bad, so should be alright then. We hook into one, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get in the net safely, so just hopefully we'll get one. It's coming up to about 9:30, 10 o'clock now, so not feeling 100% confident I want it to get late on in the morning, but we never know, we could catch one. Obviously early morning's your best time, so we'll just have to sit it out and see. So hopefully the fish is going to come along soon and take one of the baits. If not, it's going to show itself and I can cast to it and we'll catch it that way, so hopefully we'll have just gone off 1 in the afternoon, just literally packed all the gear away, put the stuff on the bar, and unfortunately this morning's a bit of a blank. Not too bothered though, because as long as I blank I want to learn something, and I've learned a lot this morning. As I say, there's a load of fish crashing out in front of this swim this morning, and literally brought all my stuff around into here. I sat in this swim for 4 to 5 hours, I've seen one more fish show. Considering I've seen about 15 to 20 shows before I moved into here, I was shocked. I moved into it really quietly, set everything away from the bank, and flicked out 3 singles, so no disturbance whatsoever, but yet they just moved off. It took 2 hours to see one show in here, and it shot right over the right hand rod, so I was hoping that was going to go, but this morning just wasn't meant to be. There was 2 geezers done last night, neither of them had any fish. I know the one who done last night though had a fish the morning before, so as far as I'm aware there's only 2 fish out this week, so can't really complain for blanking on the morning session. Everyone else seemed to left, and it left me the only person on the lake, so I was happy with that. I got my rods in about half hour to an hour early, got the marker rod out and had a good old plumb around this swim I'm fishing today, and I found all the gravel bars that are in here, or found some of the gravel bars, so I was really happy with that, learned something. And I found the gravel bar where I caught the fish off last week, and decided to have a good old plumb back around there and see where it runs from, if there's any gaps in it, and surprises me, but there's gaps in there. I found all the depths out, so I'm really happy with that. So if I ever need to fish this swim again, I know exactly what to put in my rods, so really happy with that, learned something else about the lake, and yeah, happy days. So just going to go out, load the car and get to work, and I'll be down here next week, so I'll see you in a bit. As you can see, a bit of a blank on that morning session. I was far too slow and I was always one step behind the car. I thought I could get in there and cast the rods out and get the fish to come through, but every time I seem to cast the rods out, they always seem to be the next swim down, and I end up chasing them instead of being in the way, ready with trap sets. But another lesson learned. I learned where I've gone wrong, and should have been there earlier in the morning and been on them. But again, lessons learned, and I'm always happy with that. So that then brings me to this session, which I come down yesterday for an overnighter, and I'm in the reeds with me again. Seen fish in here yesterday. Wind was hacking down into here, and I've got some footage of that session ready, so enjoy. Wednesday the 8th of October now, and conditions have turned quite a lot. The last week's been very wet, very windy, but conditions are bang on for a fish. I've had the week off work, so I managed to get down a little bit early today. I got down here for about half 11, and one other angler on the lake, which is great. He was going to swim the 40s, and to be fair, I wanted to get back in the reed swim after watching last week when I was down here for the morning session, and the way the wind is pushing. I expect him to be down in this corner again. I'm in the same swim, the reeds, as where I had that fish from last time I was on the last night, and he said he was only here for another 2 hours and he was packing up. He'd done the night last night, unfortunately, he blanked, but it gave me the lake to myself again. The wind's still hacking down here, and I'm just sure there's fish going to be here, so took my time getting the rods out. I waited for him to get his rods in really, so I didn't put another 3 lines in the water and really push the fish off. So hopefully, with only 3 lines been in the water again, we could have something. It's about 2:30 now in the afternoon. Put a handful of bait around each rod, all out on the hinge stiff rigs again, DT1. We'll see what happens. Same. I put 2 rods on the same spot where I caught a fish from when I last fished this swim, and the other rod's over a lot closer in, about 30 yards out on another gravel bar. So I'm hoping that one of these rods scream into life. And yeah, it's nice. I've got the whole lake to myself now, as I said. If anyone else turns up, then that's fair enough. But it's looking like I could be the only one on tonight. So fingers crossed we're going to have a fish. And yeah, so I'm expecting, if to get a fish, it's going to be early hours of the morning and either through the night again. So for now, I'm just going to sit back, relax, have a look on my phone, and catch you in a bit. The light. I'm still the only person down here. Wind's still pushing up into here. As you would have seen, we had an absolute downpour earlier. Ended up closing the door on the bivvy and just peeking out the top of the door, and it really did lash you down. All 3 alarms kept beeping and the wind was horrendous. And yeah, I was watching around the bivvy and it's starting to fill up pretty quickly with water, and I thought, oh, we should be alright. But I've looked down under my tackle bag and the water's coming to the right hand side, so in the progress of drying all that out. So it's not the most comfortable of conditions. Everything's muddy and boggy, and I haven't used a ground sheet, but effort equals reward, so they say. So hopefully with all this effort we shall get a reward. I've seen one carp leap out of the water earlier. Only looked like a small mirror, but a fish is a fish, and if I catch a small mirror during the night, I'll be much happier with a small mirror than catching nothing. Tonight is also a full moon, so obviously with a full moon brings big commons, so fingers crossed we can put that to the test and we'll have a big common in the net. But anything will do tonight if we can catch a fish. All that saying that, there's a very good chance of blanking tonight, but we shall soon see. Topped up with a bit more bait. I had one, I don't know what they're called, but one diving duck go over the, I think the greaves, going over the spot earlier and get diving. So I'm assuming that's had a few boilies, but that's sodded off now. Down the other end of the lake, so just re-topped up with another 2 handfuls of boilies. And yeah, so fingers crossed we're going to get a bite. It's looking nice. The winds have started to drop off now. We forecast no more rain, but a lot of wind through the night, which I can deal with. I'm comfortable in the bivvy. So yeah, let's see what happens through the night, and if I don't have a fish in the night, I'll catch you in the morning. Oh, good morning. Don't think there's really much worse than waking up in the morning, looking at your bivvy, seeing the sun's up, and knowing you've had no action through the night. Unfortunately, our rods have been motionless all night, not even a single bleep on the rods. So that says to me the fish moved out, and there wasn't any left up here throughout the night if I haven't even had a liner or nothing. Quite surprised, as I say, the wind was hacking into it yesterday. It's still just trickling into this corner now still. And after seeing one show yesterday afternoon, I was feeling very confident. So yeah, it's a bit of a bump back down to earth. You don't catch, but that's fishing. And going on, I think I still made the right decision jumping in the swim after what I seen yesterday, but obviously I should have probably been down the other end of the lake or in a different swim, but that's one to learn for next time. And you can't catch every time obviously, but it's only coming to 8:30 now. I've got about 2 hours left or so, so there's still a chance I could catch, but the main bite time's near enough over. And I think if I was going to catch it, wouldn't have been through the night. As I say, pretty disappointed, but we'll sit back, we'll see how it goes. And I think I've just seen one show down on the left hand side actually saying that, which yeah, I did. Good news. So hopefully we'll have one, but we shall see. Well, it took like coming back down to earth with the bump. Felt really happy last night. Rods were out on perfect spots. Could see a fish or two crashing out. Wind hacking into this corner. Temperatures were bang on, and you just screamed bite. But to wake up this morning to motionless rods was a bit of a disappointment. But that's fishing, and we'll move on from that. But yeah, so that's going to be the last session of this video. I was hoping to have a fish last night to really chunk out this video, so I can only apologise for having one fish, but hopefully you got a nice insight to the start of the syndicate. I'll be bringing out a few more session episodes along the way, so hopefully I'm going to go through winter on here and get a few fish out, put a few sessions together and bring out another episode like this. So I hope you've enjoyed this sort of video, something different to what I normally do. And yeah, so if you liked it, please hit the like button below. Please leave a comment. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next session.